Hi, and welcome to 10 Kids, 2 Docs, Parenting Insights from Pediatrician Moms. I'm Dr. Sylvia Bank.
And I am Dr. Vivian Carlin. We are taking a break from releasing new content in the month of August, but we have something special planned for you today. We went back through all of our old material and found some of our favorite stories that did not make the cut for episodes. So we're stringing those together just for fun. If you have time, we hope this just puts a smile on your face and is something fun to listen to for your day today. And we will see you again in September.
Yes, thank you for listening, and see you in September for season 2.
Welcome to the 10 Kids, 2 Docs podcast. Seasoned pediatricians and longtime friends, Sylvia Bank and Vivian Carlin have counseled thousands of parents and are raising 4 and 6 kids, respectively. Join these doctor moms as they incorporate fun and their combined wisdom and experience to share parenting insights for anyone looking for practical and trustworthy guidance. Please note that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment from your doctor.
So, the first story we're going to release in this outtakes version of bonus material is a conversation that came up when we were talking about the Infants and Screens episode that we recorded.
Yeah, this was actually one of my favorites. I was sad when I had to cut it.
So, I hope you enjoy it.
I think back to 25 years ago when the push of the Academy of Pediatrics was to limit television time. Right. And I think television time is an experience blocker, right? Like, it's not inherently bad, but wow, it would be really great if our children were reading books and playing outside and playing piano instead of watching television. Well, that's not totally realistic, but I think the television kind of stopped there. It's an experience blocker. But once we get it all the way into our hands and it's this quick scrolling, quick reels that we're watching, we now have moved from experience blocker to exceptionally highly addictive, right? Yeah. This has changed. This is actually changing the wiring of our brains. We are now tactilely like holding the phone in our hand. We are continually feeding our brain with those dopamine hits scrolling on the phone, and our infants are watching us. Yes. So I think if I were a new young mom, I would try to put down my phone. Now, I definitely felt lonely going from 0 to 1, and I think about what I would do instead. Well, certainly listening to podcasts, listening to the news, listening to music, listening to audiobooks. We actually know that all of those things are great for infants. I mean, not to the exclusion of listening to the mother's voice, right? But hearing adult conversation through media is really beneficial to an infant. So I think I would try to do that instead. And if that wasn't quite satisfying it, I think I would at least go to the television instead of the handheld device. Right. So I can envision myself feeding my baby. I've got the TV on in the distance, so I'm still taking in part of the world around me. I'm still occasionally looking down at my baby. It's Sure. not as engrossing as holding the phone in my hand and scrolling, and it's forcing me to have a little bit more sustained attention on viewing that is longer. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that that's scientific, but these are my thoughts on how would I cope as a new parent right now. What would I tell myself to do?
Sure. I think my coping would probably be related to activity. So like leaving the house, even if it's in a stroller on a walk. I think I did that often early on when I had just 2.
Yeah.
I had like a double stroller and I would strap them both in and we would go for a walk, just walking around the neighborhood, around the block once, just to kind of change the scenery, get everybody kind of out of their current state, because sometimes, I mean, toddlers and babies can get worked up, with one thing or another, and a little change of pace. I often did use music quite a bit during that time where we had an old tape player. I know a lot of people don't know what that is, but we would.
Sylvia, you're aging yourself.
Yes, I am aging myself. But we would audio record. So my toddler was very much into Thomas the Train, and when you listen to their, the cartoon, it is a very narrative cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
With a narration,
yes,
and a storyline.
Yes.
And I would actually make a tape recording. I guess now you would record an MP3 of the show. I don't know, copyright, whatever. I wasn't selling it, but I would just record his favorite episode on a little tape, and then we would put it in the stroller and listen to the familiar story, which of course he's seen this one a million times. Toddlers love watching the same show over and over. And there'd be music involved, there's music in the show. And then we would walk, and kind of listen, little music, a little story in the stroller, just more of a change of pace. You were not watching TV per se. And this is how I think I spent a lot of my downtime. And then also for the mom, a little stroller, getting out there, walking and moving. The exercise and the movement is good for parents as well, to kind
Absolutely.
of combine that with a little bit of activity. It definitely sometimes gives, especially active moms who are once, very athletic or active, it helps them get a little semblance of that back in their lives. So
I hope that someday, if this gains popularity, the producers of the Thomas the Train come after you for those cassette tapes, Sylvia.
I am telling. I think we still have them. I'm sure they're somewhere in the basement
Well,
right
lock them
now.
up.
I think I was also, for me personally, and I know this is not every parent, but just as we're exchanging tips,
Yes.
I very much enjoy singing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I
You
think
are a
you know that.
karaoke queen.
Right. I very much enjoy singing. And, there were times where I would just sing, sing a song to them, or we'd put on a song we all knew, like something that I wouldn't have ever listened to as, a young adult by myself. But as a mom, you get very familiar with the kids' tunes. And we would just sing together. I mean, I would sing. And there's a certain degree of entertainment value in my kids watching me. I mean, I wasn't performing, but, kind of singing to them.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I think I did often when alone. And you don't have to be the best singer.
No.
I think the kids are not going to, kick you off of American Idol. Like, they are entertained by you.
Yeah.
And if you are singing to them and engaging in them with your voice and your movement, they are entertained by you no matter how bad of a singer you are.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I think that is something that I very much like doing personally, and incorporating some of my hobbies of, like, maybe running or walking or singing, and kind of bringing the child into my hobby and adapting that hobby into something that we can do together.
Yes, yes. I am not a good singer, but at that season in my parenting, I had this picture hanging on the wall that had this verse written on it from the Bible that I knew as a song. And so I would naturally sing that to them when I was putting them to bed. And to this day, if I start singing that song, one of my children like, "Oh, Mom, stop singing. You're going to make me cry." Because they associate that song with the season of early childhood and being tucked into bed.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It is.
I mean, and these are the types when we're talking about making long-lasting memories.
Yes, yeah.
If you are watching TV and going to bed, how different is that than hearing your mother sing a song and going to bed?
Yes.
Like, these are the types of things that I think we want to impress on the young parent, these types of habits.
So this bonus material outtake might resonate with parents of teens and how they sometimes feel, being in a household of teenagers and that teenager energy and sometimes that teenager negativity geared at parents. So I hope some people can relate and maybe find some support if you're out there parenting teens right now. We had gone on a vacation with for teenagers, and anyone who knows teenagers, they tend to be sarcastic. They tend to rib, especially their parents, point out mistakes or missteps. And I felt like on that particular vacation, we had a lot of negativity in our family unit, having tried to achieve an atmosphere of friendship amongst our kids and us, and then having them be individuals with individual drives. I felt like that was an area of discord on the
Mhm.
vacation, where then afterwards, I got together with my partner, my husband, and we were going for a walk, reflecting on, what was it about that vacation that was so contentious? What was the vibe of the vacation? And we kind of discussed how moving forward, that it was important for he and I to be a united front. It's very easy once they start, making fun of dad,
that,
Yeah.
I jump on board and, kind
Yes,
of, I
yes.
mean, I think I probably know him better than any of our kids, and to kind of resist that urge to kind of be part of the kid group and say, "You know what? We're the parent group and we support each other." And, in subsequent vacations or, times where we were together a lot, it was almost a reminder before we left, like, hey, remember, we are trying to present a unified front of between you and me, and not kind of gang up on each other or gang up on one child because the culture or the teenage culture really kind of lended to that, to
Yes,
try to be
yes.
aware of how that can affect our interaction with each other and consciously try to counteract that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's a really funny time in parenting when you know your spouse's quirks inside and out, and then
Mhm.
your teenage children start picking up on them and also pointing them out. And in your
Right.
mind, you're like, oh, yeah, like I've known this about dad for a long time.
Right.
And there's definitely a temptation to jump in. Hmm.
And I think kind of fits in your description about kind of mindfully setting our family culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have another story to share. Just the other day, I was in the office and I saw a case of lice.
Oh, yeah. Did you actually get to see the louse?
I did. And
Nice.
that's my job, right? So the family had diagnosed lice probably about a month ago and went to the pharmacy and picked up, they were told you need to get rid,
Yes.
RID. So they
Yes.
went to the pharmacy and based on their friend's recommendation, they picked up a RID product, used it, as it said on the box, used it again, 7 days later, like it instructed, and they thought that the lice was gone. But they're following up with the pediatrician, which was me, because the lice came back.
Yes. Yeah.
So when they came into the office, first of all, we kind of reviewed what product did you use? And they didn't bring it with them, but they showed me a screenshot. And it was a RID product that actually didn't have any pesticides in it.
Oh, not
So,
even permethrin. We
no.
talked about this in the episode. I think of RID traditionally as being permethrin, which does have some pediculicide activity.
Yeah. And when I'm reading the box, it was almost like that mineral oil type treatment that
Oh,
you kind of previewed, the olive oil thing that you did. It was very unclear how that was really gonna get rid of the lice the way that the instructions on the box said. So, after kind of seeing this product and looking at her, I can see why the lice came back. And, part of the job as the pediatrician was to make the diagnosis, right?
yes.
So, the first thing I do is I try to show them a hair follicle that has a knit on it, you
Yes,
know,
yes,
to,
because
like,
those
bring
aren't
it.
moving, they're easier to find,
Right,
yeah.
and to bring it to their attention, like, "This is a knit. Let me just define to you what you're looking at and what it is and why it's on the hair follicle this way." And then the second phase is to actually find a live louse. And, all I had to do was gently part the hair. It wasn't even at the base of the neck, and there it was. The diagnosis is made, and I wound up being very specific with these parents about what product that I recommend, and I did recommend the ivermectin shampoo. I I actually Googled it, showed them what they're looking for, and they screenshotted it so they could go to the pharmacy and purchase it. And then I reviewed with them the instructions on how you apply it and that they didn't have to knit comb. They knit combed the first time around, I think, with that mineral oil treatment, but they didn't have to do it this time.
This reminds me of our acne episode because just as you were speaking, I Googled RID product name list and I had no idea there were so many RID products on the market because traditionally I thought of RID as permethrin. But let me
Right.
just read for you some of the names. RID Complete Lice Elimination Kit, RID Lice Killing Shampoo, RID Home Lice Spray, RID Lice and Egg Comb Out Spray, RID Supermax, RID Supermax 5-in-1, RID Daily Defense, and RID One and Done. So if I am just looking at the pharmacy at the names, I mean, I think what I would pick is probably the RID Supermax. And that's actually the one, I mean, it sounds so strong. It
Right.
sounds so forceful, but that's actually the line that is pesticide free.
Oh,
Isn't that funny?
maybe that's the
So
reason why these people bought it, right?
yeah, totally. I think I would do the same thing. So, just to give RID a shout out, it's RID One and Done. That is the ivermectin. So RID
Right.
has a line of ivermectin. So you always want to be looking for that ivermectin.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of funny
That's
how
fascinating.
it brings our almost one of our very first episodes this season, lice, in in the light of one of our last episodes this season, which is acne and how we navigate the pharmacy, right?
Yeah, the next time I'm at my grocery store, I'm going to go to the pharmacy aisle and I'm going to count how many head lice products there are, because I didn't do that. I did it with acne and
Yeah.
was astonished, but I haven't paid attention in head lice. I'm going to go do that.
No, I think that would be very educational, I think, for a lot of people. But I think a lot of people also just order it online now. Like
Yeah, for
they'll
sure.
like Google
That
it like
too.
you did and then just order it online, right?
Yes, totally. Although unless you get that deliver this day Amazon thing that
Same
pops up.
day.
I mean, if I find head lice on my child, I am definitely driving to the grocery store and we are taking care of it right then and there. There is no one day delivery sleeping overnight for it. Like,
Right.
I want those lice gone. Oh, so disturbing. And just remember, like, I've digitally remastered that head lice episode. I love that
Right.
head lice episode, but I'm not happy with my production, but it's much better now. So
Yeah,
hopefully you can
so
point people to the new one.
Yeah, so in our August break between season 1 and season 2, the digitally remastered Head Lice Vivian's version will be
Yes.
there. So look for it. So I hope you've enjoyed this storytelling exchange of stories, just being parents and the trials and tribulations of parenting. Maybe you can relate to some of the stories that we've shared today, or maybe it just brought a smile to your face, we hope. Stay tuned next time. We have more bonus material in store. So until we start our season 2 in the beginning of September.
Sounds good. This is 10 Kids, 2 Docs. I'm Dr. Vivian Carlin.
And I'm Dr. Sylvia Bank. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to 10 Kids, 2 Docs, hosted and created by Sylvia Bank and Vivian Carlin. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and recommend our podcast to other listeners. Visit our website at 10kids2docs.com, where you can find links to social media and leave comments or suggestions. Back next week with more topics in parenting.